Hey, visionaries! You are now tuned in to the Starts with a Vision podcast, where everything you do in life starts with a vision. If your vision is clear or foggy, you are in the right place. It's time to go take what's yours, because there's a vision only you can see, and a dream only you can dream. And now, your host, Mr. Starts with a Vision.
Man, what's going on, guys? It's Isaiah Fowler, aka Mr. Starts with a Vision. And let me say this. Not only do I want you to listen to this episode, I feel like you have to listen to this episode. And here's why. Because this episode is so much. It's about so much. Knowing your worth. Understanding how to push the envelope. Going against the grain, doing what isn't popular, overcoming things, okay? Today's episode, we have Stephanie Sinclair. This interview was super long, like an hour and some change, but it was very, very, very impactful. Very impactful. And I had to bring this to you. So Stephanie Sinclair is the highest paid female consultant in the industry. That says a lot. She has packages ranging from $10K all the way up to $100,000 per year. And she will tell you proudly and unapologetically that she's booked until 2019 at the $100,000 per year packages. So she knows what she's talking about. She really knows what she's talking about. And when she speaks, you know that she knows what she's talking about. So I need you to listen up. I need you to listen to this 8 times if you have to, because this episode is a game changer. Today's guest is Stephanie Sinclair. What up, guys? It's Mr. SWAV, Mr. Starts with a Vision, and you already know this is the dopest podcast out here on the planet right now, contrary to popular belief, and I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I know that today is not only a treat, but it's about to be so many gems, because today we are going to be talking with the highest paid female consultant in the game. Is that right, Stephanie?
That's right. That's me. That's me.
How you doing today?
I am amazing. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's been a hell of a day so far, but I'm glad I got home, and I'm glad that I was able to hop on and make this happen with you. And you are on the West Coast, right?
I am. I'm in Vegas.
So you in Vegas. So how is Vegas treating you? How do you like being in Vegas as an entrepreneur?
Oh, I love Vegas as an entrepreneur. I mean, this is my home base. I travel a ton. At least 60% of the time I'm traveling. But this is my home base. Nevada is as they tell me as a Southerner being here, it's Nevada. Mm-hmm. Nevada is one of the best places tax-wise for entrepreneurs. Uh-huh. So I love being here. And, your money goes a long way here. So you can get something nice, big, huge, spectacular for a little bit of money.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got you. And where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, so you're from Alabama?
Would say Alabama. Yeah, I'm a Southern girl. Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, I'm surprised, man. I thought everybody from Alabama was slow. That's what I thought. My bad.
No, you did not think that. Not that you're in Atlanta, and half of the people in Atlanta migrated from Birmingham.
Yeah, look, I'm in Atlanta, but I'm from California. Let's get it straight.
So mad with you.
My bad.
I'm ready for that.
My bad. You see, I got to keep you on your toes.
I'm ready. But clearly we're brilliant. Clearly you said.
I guess. I guess you're an anomaly.
No, it's most of us.
Okay.
It's a Southern thing.
Okay.
We just talk a little bit slower, but it's really to charm you.
Oh, okay. So y'all putting on the facade.
Don't get me started.
Okay, I got you. Well, I appreciate you, man. So I wanna. So you from Alabama. So how did you even get started as an entrepreneur and even a consultant? Because I think I think just the story of how somebody got interested in a certain topic is very interesting in itself. So how did you even get started on this journey as an entrepreneur?
Well, what's really, really funny about this is I feel like I kind of slipped into it. I didn't have any other choice. I've always been an out-of-the-box girl. So can I give you a long story, or you want me to condense this down?
I want you to give me the real story.
Okay, so I don't talk about this in interviews. I think I've only talked about it once in an interview, and then everybody found out when one of my books came out last year. But I dropped out of high school. I dropped out of school when I was 16.
Okay.
So when I dropped out of school, I had been skipping school for a whole year, so I got put out of school. And then when I came back, it put me behind, and I was like, I'm too smart to be behind, and I ended up leaving. And I went and immediately got my GED. I got my GED the next week. And but while I was skipping school, I was going to the library every day, and I would be studying biographies, autobiographies, all different types of history books. And that was like my first introduction to entrepreneurship, because I didn't have any entrepreneurs in my family. I was being taught, you go to school, you finish school, you go get a job, you stay there, you retire. And it just didn't feel good to me. So my first introduction really was a book, multiple books. But I knew that I didn't fit into this box of going to school and finishing, clearly, because I quit. Right. I knew very early that I didn't fit into a box at all. And it transpired and went on into working. It was like every job I got, I would only keep for a year, 2 years at max. Mm-hmm. And the only reason I can tell you I was actually still working was because I was a single parent. I had my son when I was 24 years old. And so I felt forced to work, because we're told that as parents, that's what we have to do, and that's the responsible thing to do. So at this point, I had been in corporate and managed to keep a job for a few years. Had been in corporate for a few years, but I was killing it. I was in sales and marketing. And the thing about sales and marketing is that you have some control over your money. Mm-hmm. And I realized that I enjoyed being in control of my bonus check and knowing how much money I was bringing in. But in actuality, I hated having to go to work from 9 to 5 every day, or 6 to 10, or whatever that session they decided I needed to go to work. And I hated having to follow their rules on how I sold, because I felt like I could be selling a whole lot more. And I just really didn't like being in their box. I knew from the beginning I hated being told what time to take a lunch break, which sounds stupid to people. But even today, I'm like, how the hell are you going to tell me that I'm hungry at 11 a.m.? I might not be hungry till 2 p.m.
Yeah,
I'm not ready to eat yet. I just didn't like being told what to do when it came to my job. And it got to the point that it was miserable for me. Now, to some people, that sounds like nothing. To some people, that sounds super small. But for me, I was in hell every damn day. I didn't want to be there. I woke up every day, dropped my son off at daycare, left daycare, went to work, got off work, pick him up, cook dinner, go to bed, do it again the next day. And I felt like my life was meaningless. I wasn't accomplishing much, not for myself. And it wasn't worth it. And one day I woke up and was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And it was literally, I made a decision that I wasn't doing it. And I didn't take my son to daycare. I took him to work with me, along with a notebook and a pen, and wrote out, I didn't even type it, a resignation effective immediately. I cleaned my desk with my baby, my 2-year-old, right there by me. And I got the hell out of there. And I never looked back. And this is one thing people always ask me. I'm telling you the long story of how I got into entrepreneurship. I actually wasn't planning on being an entrepreneur then. What I thought was going to happen is I was so amazing at what I did that, like, I felt like big companies had heard about me or something. Like, I really did. I was like, people have heard about me and all my awesomeness. So I thought I was going to quit, and then I was going to get like an email or something, or a phone call, and I was going to do an amazing job.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I really did. I didn't have a plan. I really thought, in my mind, I thought somebody was going to save me. Now, we'll wrap around to that in a minute. I thought I was going to be saved. I was going to quit. FUCKU to this company, and somebody was going to call me. And a month went by, 2 months went by, 3 months went by. Nobody called me. And then I ended up with an eviction notice. Because I didn't plan to quit. It really was like, I'm not going today. I changed my mind. I'm not doing it. I'm done. And I ended up losing my place, having to move home. And I had to figure out, like, what am I going to do to make some money? So at that point, all I knew that I knew how to do was make all natural hair care and skincare products. That's it. I knew how to do that. And that was before the natural hair industry. Like now everybody has a natural hair product or skincare shea butter. But back then, nobody was really on that for real other than Carol's daughter. Like it wasn't even like a Miss Jessie's company at that point. And if they weren't, they weren't big. And so since I knew how to do that, the next thing was, well, how am I going to get people to buy it? And what I knew how to do was get on social media. And so I made a YouTube channel, a free YouTube channel, and I started a natural skincare channel that I talked about hair care and skincare, and I started selling my products. That's really how it happened. That was the very, very beginning. I used YouTube to market a business. Before that first year was over, we crossed 6 figures using YouTube. And after that, ended up getting written up by like some local, like the local Fox, the local NBC, which then, if it's good locally, it gets picked up nationally. So I got picked up nationally by Fox Business. And once that picked up nationally, people started asking me to speak virtually, to come into their live events and speak. And that's when I realized it was a need on the consulting end, but I had no idea this world even existed. So that's how I became an entrepreneur. And then that's how I came over here into this consulting world.
All right. So before we even talk about some consulting, I think that's really, really interesting. What year was it that you were on YouTube really quick?
Oh, crap. Had to be 2009, 2010.
Okay. So,
well, I was on YouTube on that channel from 2000. I would have gotten it up in 2009. And so probably until I would say 2013, I had that channel. Even when I had switched over to consulting, I still had that channel. But that's a whole other. You can ask me later. You want to ask me later. Let me tell you that. You want to ask me why I left YouTube. And I'll be more than happy to tell you because it actually leads to how I got to be the highest paid. But I ended up leaving in 2013.
Okay, I got you. So you really got into YouTube early when nobody was really on it and the algorithms were like super wide open and all that stuff, right?
Yes. I was a YouTube partner, and not like a YouTube partner today. Anybody can be a partner now. You put up a video, you get an ad. Right. Back then, to be a YouTube partner, you had to have a certain number of subscribers, comments. You had to apply for it. And then if approved, then you could have ads on your channel. It wasn't a free-for-all. Everybody have ads at that moment.
Okay, I got you. So what was your strategy in terms of marketing this product on YouTube? Because I really want to illustrate for people, the strategy that every single thing takes. Like, don't sit here and think that, I'm about to start this business or whatever it is, and you literally have no type of strategy. Or what people say is, I'm going to use YouTube for my business, but they have no strategy, right? So, like, what was the strategy you kind of talked about and you used when you got on YouTube for this natural hair care product?
So one thing that I realized early on, because I had been in marketing for a long time, is that especially when it comes to personal brands, even though it's a thing, a product, offering, people actually buy into you. So you have to be likable. You have to be the person that's actually promoting it. So I used YouTube to show up and show how I use it. So I actually was vlogging, like talking about everyday stuff, I cut my hair off. And it's real funny because people always ask me about, I'm a natural girl, but I went natural a second time because I knew I was doing the YouTube channel and I wanted to show how my hair care products grew my hair and how quickly they grew my hair. So I did a big chop and I cut all my hair off, like maybe an inch all over. And I used my products and showed up and showed how to style it using the products. So I actually demonstrated the use of the products, but I talked about real life stuff too, because I understood it was important for people to know, like, and trust me. Even back then, before I knew it was a thing as a know, like, and trust factor, I knew that if people liked me, then they would naturally buy the product. And as long as the product worked, they would keep buying.
Right. Okay. So you just knew that the branding was all about who you were as a person.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And showing up consistently. I think at one point, I was doing videos at least 3 times a week. I was very consistent and I was who I am. Part of what I've heard since then from people who knew me back then, and I know when people know me from there because they don't call me Stephanie, they call me Queen. And that was part of my YouTube name at the time. And I'll be out sometimes now at airports and people will say, hey, Queen. And so I know where they know me from. Part of the thing that people told me back then was, they liked me because they liked that I was just like them and had a business, and I gave them hope that they could have a business. Now, at the time, I didn't know that. I thought they was just following me and liked me and wanted to buy my stuff, but they actually followed me because of entrepreneurship.
All right, I got you. So after that, you did that. You made noise. You built a brand on YouTube, and then you made money. After that, why did you leave YouTube, and how, what was the transition? What was the next step after YouTube? Was it like the hair care product, it just shut down? Did it slowly taper off? Did you just start consulting and say, forget about this product stuff? What did that look like?
So I actually only had the product company for like 2 years because the consulting took off. I realized I was making a whole lot more money at a speaking gig or with a client or two than, hawking $15, $20 products.
Right.
I realized early on, you have to sell a whole lot of products when I could actually, what I'm making from selling 100 products, I could actually make from one client. So I actually tapered off and stopped selling the products about 2 years in once I switched over to consulting, but I didn't delete the channel because people seem to actually still be interested in entrepreneurship. The reason, and I'm going to be really transparent, and this got me into, I'm going to say a lot of trouble. Can I curse? I can curse, right?
Absolutely. You could be you on this podcast.
I'm a cursor. So this actually got me in a lot of shit, even though I don't give a damn, with the YouTube community at the time, because I deleted my YouTube channel on a whim. And what's funny about this was my entire audience. Like, I took my YouTube channel, I had a Facebook page for it, but that was my whole audience. And I deleted the YouTube page and the Facebook page at once. And so I went from having a business that was making money to now I'm throwing all these clients and customers away. Here's why.
So you didn't even have an email list?
Say that again?
You didn't even have an email list?
No, I didn't have an email list. Hell no. No.
Okay. Oh, this is good. This is good stuff right here.
I ain't had no email list. But I didn't want them on the email list anyway. That's why I got in the whole heap of trouble.
Oh, okay.
I'm done with these mofos. So I did a business retreat in Puerto Rico. I had a guest house in Puerto Rico. And so I did a business retreat and I undercharged for the business retreat, which is something that I think happens a lot in entrepreneurship. We try to charge based on what we think people can afford, or we just pull numbers out of the sky without having a real strategy on how much to charge. And that's what I did. And I feel like I charged maybe $800 for like a 4-day retreat. And the retreat was like transportation. We went snorkeling. It included all the food. It included horseback riding. It like included all this stuff, right? And what a lot of people didn't realize is that I didn't charge enough. And I actually went into massive debt to pull that event off.
Whoa.
I used my rent money to pull that off. I called one of my friends who was a YouTuber too, who was helping me with the event. She had to give me money. Like, I was pulling money from everywhere to do that freaking event and pull it off because I didn't charge enough. And then the bastards had the nerve to complain that some stuff wasn't included, right? So when the event was over, I didn't blame them. I totally blamed me because I didn't charge enough.
So you charged $800?
Yeah, $800. It was just not enough for an all-inclusive event.
Hell no.
So, yeah, all inclusive, like everything. All they had to do was pay for their flight. But every time they got into, we had a Mercedes Sprinter, the guy to go pick them up. Every time they got into the car, it was like $100, $200 because we were nowhere near the airport. So every time they got into the car, I'm paying big sums of money. Most of the money actually went to their transportation and then their events because to go scuba diving was not scuba, but snorkeling for the group was like $1,000. It was just like every time you turned around, it was big sums of money. I just did not charge enough. So everybody was asking for another event. So I put together another event that was going to be in St. Thomas. All they needed to do was fly out. I found a beautiful home. It was going to be all inclusive again, but I learned from the first time. And so this event was going to be $2,000. Mm-hmm. And I promoted it on YouTube, just like I did the first one. And people had the audacity to leave comments like, who does she think she is to charge $2,000 for an event? It was like in Lipstick Alley, the blog, they were talking about it like, who does she think she is? And as I read through the comments, and nobody signed up for it, and I only promoted it for a week, but as I read through the comments, all of a sudden it hit me. These mofos want caviar on a baloney budget.
Oh, okay.
And I don't want to sell baloney.
Uh-huh.
I need to stop talking to the people who want to buy the baloney.
Right.
And it was like, as soon as it hit me, I'm like, I'm done. And I literally went and deleted my YouTube channel and deleted my Facebook page that went through it. And I was absolutely done with that brand. I wiped it all away in one time, and I've never regretted it.
Damn. Okay. So now, what do you do next? Like, do you say like, all right, I'm a super consultant now, or do you kind of like go to some conferences? Do you read books? Do you have a reflection period? Like, after you delete
I knew
it,
I was good at what I was doing at that point, because at this point I've been consulting for a minute, just on a cheaper rate, just cheaper and working with more people. But
at this time, what was your rate? Because I want to show the progression of the prices.
Oh crap! Oh my God, I remember this time. So listen, it was so bad. I can tell you before this happened, I can tell you the last special I ran, and it was a very desperate move, and I laugh about it to this moment, but I ran 6 months of coaching for $500. Oh, I did that. It was the worst thing ever, but it happened. 6 months for $500, and people were signing up left and right for it. Of course they were. You feel good when they signing up till you spend all the money and be like, wait, I still got to talk to you. Right. I got to talk to you again. Right. Oh my God. So after I shut it down, what I knew for sure is that wasn't my audience. And that's why I never regretted it, because where I knew I wanted to go, they weren't going to pay it. Because what people have to realize is people do what you train them to do. These people had followed me for years, and everything. I never sold anything like products was over $20. You could get coaching from me for less than $100. And so when I started talking about thousands of dollars for stuff, it really was a shock to them. They no longer, that was the community I built. Now I need to build another community. So I was really smart. I think I didn't know where to find these people on social media. So I decided, let me go pay for a group that has a Facebook group. So let me go find a program, product, or service, and I'm going to pay for it. It just needs a Facebook group with it that already has a community that's existing. So that's what I did. I think I went and joined a membership group that was like $200-300 a month, super cheap. And it didn't feel cheap at the time, but now I'm like, that was so cheap. Join this community. And once I got in the Facebook group, I think it was like 700 paid members in there. Now, in my mind, these people are paying what I'm paying, so they now are accustomed to spending money. Mm-hmm. So when I ask for them to buy something, it won't be a big deal. So, of course, you can't go in people's groups and promote yourself. So what I decided to do was say, hey, guys, I know this group, and you could post in there. So, hey, guys, I know this group is just for those of us who are in this paid program. I would love to create a support community where we are literally supporting each other in our offerings and sharing each other's stuff out to make things viral. So I've created this other Facebook group over here. Now, this is before Facebook groups were popping. Now, Facebook groups are really, really overdone. Mm-hmm. At this time, you really only saw them for paid group, like people that's a part of paid programs. Mm-hmm. So I said, I've created this free group over here. Let's go over here. We're going to mastermind. We'll share each other's stuff. And a whole bunch of people just started joining it. And I showed up every day. I would do a video because, of course, live stream wasn't on Facebook at that time. And I want to say this was 2013. Mm-hmm. I showed up at least 3 times a week, a video. My one goal was for them to see I was the expert and I knew exactly what I was talking about. By the second week, I started putting out invitations if you wanted to hop on the phone with me and talk about marketing your business using social media. By the end of that second week, I had signed someone at like $400 for the month, which is still cheap compared to where I am now.
Very cheap. That's pennies compared to now.
Yeah, compared to my 500 for 6 months. I just did something, right? And by the end of that month, I had a full program at that rate. So I was very strategic. I knew I needed to get in front of new people. This was before, I think Facebook was just about to roll out Facebook ads, or they were out, but they were for major brands first. I don't know if you remember that. They were out, but they were like for Coca-Cola, like big brands, like regular people couldn't get them quite yet. So I knew I needed to get in front of the right people. So I paid for somebody else's group. I didn't even need her services. That was the funny thing. I knew what she was teaching, but what I needed was her community. And so I was willing to pay to get in front of her people.
So, okay, that's real smooth. Would you suggest that to somebody now?
Yeah, one of the things that I tell people all the time is that you have to be really smart. You go pay to play anyway. I feel like one thing, especially about anything that you're doing online, people think online businesses, you don't need any money. You need some money because I don't know who's going to coach you. I don't know how you're going to get in front of the right people. Like, you really do need something. I don't care if it's $100. You need something in order to really, really get started. So I definitely suggest that if you don't have the money to run ads, but say you're not super high ticket, and you're okay with signing people at a few $100s, go find you a community that you pay a few $100s for, and then stay in that community, build your contacts and connects there, and get clients that way. Yeah. When people know when you show up as an expert. Like, you can be in other people's group and show up, not even have your own. You can show up in other people's group. You never have to promote your program, product, or service, and you can show up as an expert. Let me give you a quick story. And I won't say the name of the group because the group is still around, but it's another group that a coach is in, and it's a coaches group. It's huge. And people would be in there and they would be asking questions. And this was during the same time I would hop in the group. And she wasn't answering their questions, or she was answering them, but it wasn't the right answer. So me and my smart ass Aquarius nature was like, let me pop in and give the right answer. I sign clients that way too. I never even asked for the client. If somebody asked something, I knew the answer. I would share my expertise. Naturally, after doing that, people click over to your page. They want to see what you're about. When they come to your page and they see what you're about, and you've been showing your expertise, they try it, it's working, they're naturally going to reach out to you to find out how to work with you.
Absolutely.
So you just have to be really creative.
And I think the more time goes on, the more creative you're going to have to be.
Exactly. And I actually think that's why I said I wouldn't necessarily start a group. You know, what worked for me in 2012, 2013, truthfully, is not really going to work as well now, because there are a lot of people doing groups. So you have to stay on your toes when it comes to marketing, when it comes to putting yourself out there. You really have to stay on your toes and say, okay, what's the next thing? I was reading, somebody posted earlier today, I don't remember who it was, I saw it on social media. You know, by the time you jump on the wave, if everybody and their mama on the wave, you too late.
Way too late.
So
yeah.
I jumped in the Facebook game with the Facebook groups before Facebook groups were a thing, right? So now you go get a Facebook group. If your idea is to get a Facebook group to get clients, it is a whole lot more difficult today than it was then, because people are members of so many different groups. Like, it's just, you're going to have to come with something new, fun, refreshing, and different.
Exactly. So now my biggest question at this point is, how the hell on earth do you go from $400 in 1 month to $100,000 a year?
Yeah, so it seems like a big jump.
Come on, Steph. Like, let's be real.
I did do a big jump. It was a big jump. So I went to for something, and then after that, I was like, that was one-on-one. So after that, I realized that model only works for so long. You max out on one-on-one clients. Right. So then I said, let me do a group. So I kept the pricing the same, about $400 and some change for a group program a month for a year. And then if you wanted to do one-on-one, it was double that. So $900 and some change if you wanted to work with me one-on-one. So I had a small group going. I had a handful of one-on-one clients. I'm good. I'm traveling. I'm doing the most. but I still felt like I was working a lot. And this is what I always tell people. My prices skyrocketed. And I have no shame about my skyrocketation. I make up words. I have no shame.
Skyrocketation?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep, it's a thing. It's an adjective.
Okay.
I have no shame about it because of the results my clients were getting. So at this point, my clients are generating consistently $10,000 to $20,000 a month consistently in their business. I'm generating 40 to 50K, depending. I'm also having VIP intensives in there, like different things thrown in. Mm-hmm. So this was 2014, 13 to 14. No, 14. We left in the summer of 2014. We're in Italy. I'm booked to the max. I have a nanny that went with us because I homeschool my son. We were traveling for a full year around Europe and Asia. And I knew way back then. So this is the thing. And I'm spilling the beans since I'm on live too. And your audience is listening. My audience is listening. I'm spilling the beans. But way back then, traveling wasn't a thing people did in business per se. Maybe one or two people, but people weren't using traveling in their marketing. So I knew, remember I said, you got to stay fresh. You got to know what's fresh with the ideas. So now it's like you're noticing a lot of people coming into the industry. We got all these dang on experts, everybody an expert to let them tell it. Well, I wanted to demonstrate that I was a lifestyle expert. I can show you how to make money while not being locked down to a location. So my idea was, well, no better way to show that than for you to do it. So I decided to get up and travel the world for a year and run my business and do it all on Facebook, post videos, show pictures, like to show what was going on. And that's what I did. Mm-hmm. So I'm in Italy and I had booked some clients to come for VIP intensives. And back then my intensives were $3,000 to come work with me privately in roughly 6 to 8 hours. So they will fly out to Italy. We'll hang out for the day. We'll do their entire business blueprint. And what I quickly realized about 3 weeks in is though we were in Italy with beautiful people, beautiful language, beautiful food, my kid was spending more time with the nanny than with me because I was working. Mm-hmm. Like I'm needing to make the money to keep this going. Like it just wasn't working for me. So I'm also around the same time realizing that the group that I had, they weren't really what I wanted either. Like the people weren't what I wanted. And this is just me being real transparent. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about what I mean by the people later, because as we grow, we want our people to be growing. So if you sign people and they're paying you, but they're stagnant, that's not going to help build your business. You need testimonials. So my group people weren't even implementing except for one or two people. My one-on-one people were implementing because they had me there to push them. But I realized I had way too many one-on-one people. So I cut off my group and I only kept like 2 to 3 one-on-one clients. Mm-hmm. So that means I dropped down drastically to about $3,000 a month to my revenue. I mean, drastically. Mm-hmm. So I'm out of the country. My revenue has dropped. And I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. I know I can figure out how to make it off of this, but I got to figure out a plan and a golden plan. So I'm on social media and I don't know. I really believe that things happen when they're supposed to. So people come into our sphere of influence when they're supposed to come into our sphere of influence. And I truly believe that when you pray for a thing, things don't always come up looking free. And that's one thing I hear from a lot of people. They're like, I've been praying for a mentor. No, you're praying for a free mentor. People are busy. No one wants to mentor you for free. It's just not going to happen, especially when you're going to a coach. Like, this is what you do to survive. Hell no, I'm not doing it for free. Right. No. So people expect that to come. I knew better being a mentor myself. So I'm online and this man pops up on my timeline. I don't know where he came from. I don't know if someone tagged him in something, but I clicked on his page and everybody on his, everybody who was commenting and tagging him was talking about how they did like $100,000 that month, $200,000 that month. And I'm like, what the hell does he do? Right? I need some help. What does he do?
Right.
So I literally in about 2 to 3 hours scroll back. I'm going to say almost his entire time on Facebook, which is several years. I like totally binged out on his posts. Mm-hmm. So I saw he had a post on there that was like, if you're really ready to like start maximizing your income and doing 6 figures a month, inbox me. So I'm sipping on some red wine. It's late. At this point, remember, I'm not in the US, so the time difference was there too. It's late, about 12 midnight, 12-ish. So I reach out and he inboxed me back and he's like, can you hop on the phone with my wife? His wife was his salesperson. I'm like, sure. So I can't tell you that I planned on signing up that day, but I am a person that jumps when opportunity presents itself. Like, I don't even play. So I hop on the phone with her. Opportunity presented itself to sign up for $100,000 a year coaching. And the upfront money, I had just enough in my bank account. Now, don't forget, I'm out the country.
Right.
Okay? Like, I spent every penny except for about $100 that was in my account. I didn't know how we were going to get to our next destination. I didn't know how we was going to get the tickets, the house, the nothing. I was out the country with a kid and a nanny and emptied a bank account minus about $100 because I saw he had the testimonials. Clearly, he knew some shit I didn't know. And I believe in me. People always ask me, like, did you believe in him that much? No, I believed in me. And I knew that if you tell me what to do, I can implement. Nobody's any smarter than me. I'm fucking brilliant. I can implement. So I emptied my bank account. That was on a Saturday going into a Sunday. He and I had a private session that Sunday. That Monday, I signed the first client now at, you remember my group was $400 and some dollars. Don't forget that, right? So now, after talking to him, my group is $5,000. I didn't question it. Now, in hindsight, I tell people, my clients know that they need to move before thinking. And what that means is do what I did. If I had paused to think about, holy smokes, I'm about to raise my price from 400 and something for a group to 5,000 for a group, I would have overthought it. I would have said nobody would have paid me. I would have had all these self-defeating thoughts that was going on. But I didn't do that. I was like, look, I didn't empty my account. I don't have time for this. I literally, that was Sunday. Monday, I sold the first one. Once one person paid for it, I was like, oh, it's on and popping. I'm good. It literally, by the end of that week, I did $72,000 cash. And by the end of that month, I did $100,000, and I have stayed above $100,000 ever since. That was how I shifted. I literally just followed directions and didn't question it.
So you said a lot there, but one of the biggest things was, like, you put yourself in a position to where you had no choice. Yeah. But to succeed.
Exactly. I was in between a rock and a hard place. I know I have to take care of my kid. I mean, I got to get the hell out of these people's country. There is a time limit on how long I can stay, so I can't just be here forever.
Right.
I got to get out of here. So I really did put myself in a place where it was sink or swim, and sinking is not an option for me.
So what was your package like? Was it the exact same package as the 400, but you just raised the price, and what was like the structure of the program and or package? How many hours did you give them and all that stuff?
Yeah, so surprisingly, I actually gave a whole lot less.
Oh, really? So talk about that.
That's one of the things I think that shocks most people is that when you get into a higher level, people don't want to talk to you all day. They want to go implement and get their results. They don't want to sit on the phone with you. So what was happening was, at a cheaper level, people want to sit, they want to trade dollars for hours. They feel like, oh, I need an hour a week, or I need an hour twice a week, or whatever. They come up with their thing. That higher ticket, I literally went from 400 for a group where we met every single week for sometimes 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours, till we went to meeting once a week, 3 times a month, because I only work the first 3 weeks out the month. That's like a given for me. I don't work no more than that now. But first 3 weeks of the month, we meet for however long we're on the phone. It could be 15 minutes, but usually no more than an hour. And they go implement. They don't need to talk to me. The time that you're talking to me is the time that you can take what I just gave you and you could go make some money. You don't need to talk to me.
Damn. Literally. Okay. So what do you think is like the biggest misconception between lower pricing and higher pricing? Because I think that that's like, it's like night and day kind of. And when somebody and talk about your packages as well. Like, what are all your packages that you offer now and the prices? And just talk about the fact that you do a lot less. We were talking earlier, and you said you don't wake up some days until 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. Like, you would think that somebody who's making $100,000 a month would be waking up at 4 a.m. every single day, running, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm talking to you just because I'm on camera. I have a shirt on, my shirt that says, wake up, make money, sleep, repeat. Mm-hmm. But I actually have pajama pants on. Mm-hmm. Literally in pajama pants. I definitely live by the alarm clock is the devil, is Satan himself. And I believe that our brains, our bodies are superior. They are so smart. So when they're done resting, they wake up. Like, I don't need anything to beep, beep, beep to tell me to wake up. When my body's done,
right,
I'll wake up. You asked me a bunch of stuff. So the first thing you said was, what is the greatest misconception between low ticket and high ticket? I think you asked me, and I think that it is that you don't, I think that is you do more work. You make more money, you do more work. But it's actually the opposite. You begin to work smarter. People assume that, if you're going to charge me such and such, I need a certain amount of hours. The person who thinks that, you don't want them as a client anyway. They don't have the mindset of a client you will want. You want a client who would rather take a quick the solution faster than the longer solution. Now, this is the example I give my clients, so I'm going to give it to you. So imagine you have a toothache and you need a root canal. You got two options. One doctor tells you, I can totally do this root canal for you at $500. It's going to take me about 3 hours to get it done, but I can totally get it done for you. Or now you've been in pain for days, and I don't know if you ever had a toothache, but a toothache and your feet hurting are two things that would just drive you crazy. You just can't have no toothache. Mm-hmm. So you decided to go to somebody else just to check on, make sure, second opinion, do I really need a root canal? The next dentist tell you, sure, we can handle it. It's going to be $1,500. The insurance does not cover it, but we can get it out of there in 15 minutes. Are you going to choose the person who takes longer and are cheaper, or are you going to take the person who charges more but can get you the results faster? Smart people choose the person who is more but gets the results faster. My clients come to me, and within the first 60 to 90 days, they're generating anywhere between 20 and 50K a month in their business. Why the hell do you need to talk to me 500 hours? Like, why? Right. If I was cheaper and I had to have bigger programs, because my programs now, I only allow 10 people in my group programs at any given time. If I had to have 50 people, 100 people, 200, you wouldn't get the results as fast because I cannot devote that much attention to you and your business and what you're doing. So you're going to be there longer. You're in the long run, you're going to end up spending more money, pay and get the results. Now, the next question you asked me was my programs now, my offerings. So in general, I have, I run what's called a front end, back end business model. And people hate that I tell it because it's been like a secret on the high ticket side, but I told it in a video series recently, and it's like, it is what it is. Why is it a secret? Let everybody get the money, right? It's okay. It's enough for everybody. So basically your front end is the root canal. That's $1,500 and get fast results. Your front end program is that thing that's a day. It's 6 weeks. It's 8 weeks, but it gets your client quick, fast results at a higher price. Mm-hmm. And then the back end is once they've gotten that result and they've shown that they're a person who implements, then they come into something that's longer, a year long, that's accountability based. My front end, depending on what it is, if it's something that's a bigger group where I don't actually have to coach you, maybe you're going through a video series. So I have one right now. It's called High Ticket Mastery. It's literally 6 training modules and then a live event. It's $2,000. That's the lowest thing that I have. Mm-hmm. My higher price to work with me for 8 weeks in a group is $10,000. Mm-hmm. And then I have a $70,000 program and a $100,000 program. Those are all my offerings.
And what do you think about results? Do you think that different people want different results? Because one thing that I've kind of learned is, like, not everybody is the result they're looking for is like money. Some people want, just to feel better and stuff like that. Some people just want accountability. Some people will pay $50,000 just for somebody to hold them accountable.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times that's what it is. And then that's what my back end program really is, a lot of accountability, not even mentorship. It's accountability. But it still comes down to the money because they want the accountability so that they can follow through and make the money. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter for me, for my people. So it just depends on what you do. But for my people specifically, even if they don't say the money, if to them they say it's not about the money, it still rolls around and it's about the money. I've had people say, I really want to, not have to worry about anything. I want to, if an emergency comes up, I want to have something to pull. It still comes back to money. Mm-hmm. I have people who want the lifestyle freedom. They want to be able to travel. They see that I fly first class and private very often. They're like, I want that too. Guess what it takes? Right. Money. So regardless of what people think it is, it still comes back to money. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And impact is the next thing, though. Oh, okay. Impact would be my follow-up for money. Most people who come to me, they want the money, but impact is huge to my people. They really are transformational experts. They're working to transform people's lives in some way, whether it is through image, whether it is through weight loss, whether it is relationship counseling or coaching. They transform people's lives, mm-hmm. but they understand you can't transform anybody's life when you don't have anything yourself. Like, you have to be okay. If you're worried about how you're going to pay your mortgage, it's going to be real difficult for you to really focus on somebody else's life, because in the back of your mind, you're thinking like, hey, I need to pay my mortgage, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you said, okay, so you have a son, right?
Yes, he's 10.
Okay, so he's 10 years old. How did you kind of like go about building this whole thing as a single mother? Like, what was like the biggest heartache or thing you had to overcome in lieu of all of this? Because I know it hasn't been easy. So like, what was like the biggest sacrifice?
I'll be, somebody might get real mad with me, but as usual, I give zero fucks. I feel like single parenting is an excuse people use.
Ooh, let's talk about it.
Yeah, for me, it's been a lot of days that my kid was sitting there with me while I was on coaching calls. Mm. And it's funny because he knows now, he can listen to the sound of my voice and tell what kind of call I'm on. He's here now. Mm-hmm. He can tell what kind of call I'm on now because he's been watching for so long. But I didn't use, not having a babysitter as an excuse. I didn't have any money. I quit my job. So now I can't pay nobody to watch him. So he was just there. It is what it is. I would tell people, hey, my son's in the room. If you hear something, that's what it is. One of my clients use this slogan, and it's so true. People love to say that their kids are their why, but in reality, they use their kids as their why not. They allow their children to be their excuse as opposed to the reason that they actually do a thing. And what I never want my son to see me do is make up a bullshit story. And that's all it is a story in your head. It really is make up a bullshit story about why you couldn't. I remember once my internet was off. My internet was turned off. Now, I had the whole YouTube channel at the time. How the hell your internet off? Guess what? I took my black ass to the library, and they had chairs outside, and we sat outside in hot, humid ass heat. And I did videos and ran coaching calls from outside at the library. Nothing was stopping me. So I don't actually think anything was, I don't feel I sacrificed a big, huge thing. The only thing I would say is that if I sacrificed anything, it was time that he was in the room with me, but we weren't really together because I was working. Mm-hmm. So if I could go back and change that, I would. But the truth is, I did that then. So now my son can spend as much time with me as he wants to. I only work on Tuesdays. I have the fourth week of every month off and sometime the fifth. Not almost every day. Every day I'm cooking his meals if he needs something from me. We're homeschooling. So I sacrificed that then. If I had anything, I would say that. But that's not even really, he was there. I didn't use him as I got a kid. So many people say, I would never have made that investment, because if you have a child to take care of, that's irresponsible. No, what's irresponsible is you not doing what's necessary, so this bullshit excuse can stop being your excuse. That's the only reason it's your excuse, because you keep making decisions from your place of lack and from your place of poverty. You got to stop and start making a decision from a place of prosperity. So when I made a decision to make a big, huge investment, which for real I couldn't afford, when I made that decision, it's because I made it from a place of not being able to afford it, but from being able to afford it. And so when you start making decisions from where you want to be, then you get where you want to be. But the reason you keep recreating the shit and you can't get out your hole and you keep getting stuck is because you keep doing stuff that stuck people do. You keep using the same excuses stuck people use. Stop.
Right.
Do something different.
That's deep, man. And I think that is very, very true, though. They making those decisions based off of the lack. And you should not make decisions because you're scared. You should really make decisions because you're excited for the future, rather than, scared that you're going to lose something.
Yes, exactly. It's funny because most people make decisions from that place. I mean, just think about it. If you catch yourself in a grocery store and you saying, I'm going to get this brand because it's 25 cents less. For real, did that 25 cents break you like that? For real? Did it break you for real? Come on now, we gonna talk about this. Did this break you? Because and it can't just be in your real life. Like I always talk about a tattoo I have on my arm. I got it tatted earlier this year, and it says embody, EMBODY. You have to embody who you want to become, and always, not just with your investments for your business, but from the food you eat, from the conversation you're having, from the television you're watching. I don't watch ratchet TV. Now, I'm a mess on my own. I don't need no influences. I just don't need it. But I watch ratchet TV. I watch documentaries. I read a lot. It's just not really of interest to me, because I believe that as a human being, we, especially an entrepreneur, we have a fertile brain, a fertile mind. So anything you plant is going to grow.
Right.
So the woman that I knew I wanted to become, which was a millionaire, which we did 2.5 million last year, and we should hit 3.5 this year. The woman I wanted to become wouldn't be sitting up watching bullshit.
Right.
She wouldn't be talking about bullshit. I remember, I always talk about this. My friends and I that I talk to regularly, all we talk about is wealth consciousness and mindset. We even take real life stuff and we try to find lessons in stuff that don't seem like it'll be tied back to self-development. I have literally embodied who I wanted to become. What would this, my next level is 10 million. What would this $10 million woman do?
Right.
What decisions would she make? So as much as I traveled a ton, I don't travel as much as I used to. I got so many Chanel's and Louis Vuittons and Alexander McQueen's. I love purses. I'm a purse girl. I don't buy as many purses as I did at one point. Why? Because maybe the $2 million woman did that. She was happy to make $2 million. Well, this girl who's going for $10 million, her money needs to be invested in real estate and other businesses and in growing. And so my mindset has shifted as I am embodying my next level woman. My next level woman understands that, you know what, you use the money now. It's coming. It's what it is. Now start growing it. Look at legacy. Look at leaving my not my highest program, my second to my highest program. The group program is called Legacy. And I've had it for 3 years now. It's all about leaving and creating a legacy, growing your money, not thinking about just today, making more money and growing more money, creating sellable companies. Like those are the things that a $10 million woman would think about. So you have to think about, as a man, as a woman, what's the level you want to go to and what are the actions that they take? What are the things that they do? Because if you keep making actions from where you are, all you're doing is creating more of that. You're going to have to step outside the box. And that means you might have to stop talking to your broke ass friends. That means you have to stop talking to the people who aren't speaking life into you. I have a friend right now that it was something I was working on. And she looked at me and she said, that sounds stupid to me. And I was like, oh, I'm about to Beyonce her ass. Because, they say Beyonce will quit talking to you. And she ain't do nothing to me other than speak something other than life into me. And I was through. So I ain't say shit to her since. And I won't. I'm not mad. I just only choose to speak to people and deal with people who are speaking life into me and my situation. Because that's all I'm ever speaking to you.
Absolutely.
Ever. And into what you're doing. And if what you're doing, I'm like, isn't a good thing, I'm not going to speak death into it. But what I'm going to do is give you another option and maybe help you realize on your own, wait, this is a better path to go. But, to say something like, oh, that's a stupid idea. Like, oh, yeah, you just cut me all the way down. Like, done through.
Right.
And so we got to be okay with cutting out people.
Yep. I read a quote the other day, and it said, I've made money and I've lost money. I've made friends and I lost friends. I just want the money back.
Exactly. I don't regret any friendships I've cut off. I mean, there are friends that I've had for years that I didn't cut them off, but maybe we don't have as many things in common. And so we don't talk as often because I don't really care, and it sounds bad, but I don't care to talk about things that aren't changing the world. I just don't give a fuck.
But that goes back to your legacy.
Yes.
So
it's bigger than this BS talk. Like, even on the days that, like, some days I'm like, damn, I don't have nothing to do, like, really nothing to do. Like, all my systems are in place. Things run without me. Ads run people to videos, that runs people to sales pages, or not real sales pages, I don't do that, but to offerings. I have a lot of things that run without me. So some days I'm like, I don't have nothing to do. Even on those days, that's when I pull out my books. That's when I pull out one of my favorite documentaries is The Man Who Built America. And I watch it. I've watched it over and over. And it's it used to be on Netflix, but when they took it off, I think last year, I ordered it. It's a 4-part DVD. I ordered it from Amazon. And I've had my son watch it. And the first thing that stood out to me was these are people that we still talk about today: Carnegie, Vanderbilt, Ford, and the other guy, the bank guy, I forgot his name. But we still talk about Morgan Bank. But anyway, we still talk about these people today. But there was no women and there were no people of color. And I know for sure that 100 years from now, 200 years from now, y'all great grandkids will know my name and will know the work that I have done in this world and will know how I've helped shift the lives of so many people. You have to make a conscious decision that that's going to happen.
Absolutely. That decision, that's all it takes. I have a question for you. This is my question for you. What are 3 of the simplest implementable strategies people overlook that you think to get started? Maybe it could be launching their product or whatever it is. Like, what do you think are 3 things that are overlooked in terms of implementation?
I don't have 3, but I have 1.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Asking for the sale.
Asking for the sale. Talk about that a little bit.
That's it. People don't ask. People like, I sell such and such, or they'll know for themselves, but they don't talk about it. They don't put it out there and ask people to buy it. People will see stuff and say, this is nice, but they don't, maybe won't necessarily reach out to you. When I go back, remember I told you the story how I signed up with my mentor, and then we had our session that Sunday. That Monday I made the first sale. What was funny about that was she didn't reach out to me. It was somebody that I knew had followed me for a couple of years on my personal page. And we had inbox discussions, but not like about sales, just like, hey, how you doing? Like coffee introduction virtually kind of thing. And I knew where she was in her business. And so I decided to inbox her and say, hey, I'm working on this program. And as soon as I started working on it, I thought about you. Do you want to hop on the phone? And she said, what's funny is I've been seeing your posts and I kept thinking, I don't know if this is for me. Sometimes people won't reach out to you. Sometimes you got to be willing to do what you don't want to do. Sometimes it's uncomfortable to sell because you're scared of being rejected. Get over your rejection bullshit. It ain't personal. It's about them. If they say no, they're saying no to them. They're saying no to their business, their weight, their relationship. It ain't got shit to do with you. Everything to do with them. And so you have to be willing to get over that, because sometimes people are waiting for you to say to them, hey, I think this is for you. Let's talk about it. And so that's how I made that first sale, which then gave me the confidence to go sell the rest of it.
Dang. So literally just making a decision to ask for a sale.
That's it. And actually, you know what? I'll give two. You just said it. I forgot. I'll give two. Number two would be ask for the sale. Number one would be make the decision. Because anything we really make a decision about, we won't do the opposite. A real decision means this is where I'm going. I don't see left. I don't see right. All I see is where the hell I'm going. And how am I going to get there is I'm going to start selling shit. And how am I going to sell shit? I'm going to ask for it. Mm-hmm. So the first one is you got to decide this is really, really what my life is going to be. Like, I was so done. I mean, I have slept on an air mattress that my then 2-year-old put a hole in. He didn't do it on purpose, but a hole in with a pencil. And so that means he has a bed, a toddler bed. I don't have nowhere to sleep. I blow that thing up every night, and by the morning, I'm on the floor. Like a hard, cold floor.
Right.
Every single day. I had to make a decision. This is not my fucking life. This is not what I was built for. I wasn't even raised in poverty. How in the fuck did I get here? Right. How did I get to the fact that I have no money? I'm smart. I know how to shift people. I know how to change people. How did I get here? So I had to make a decision, number one, on what I was going to do, but it's still around decision because I was in between being a life coach and being a business coach. And what I mean is, the life coach part, what I am, it's funny. I'm a business coach, but this is the truth. I teach business, but people shift more mindset-wise working with me because you can't just focus on your business and think that mindset not going to change. Right. You can hustle all damn day and be broke as hell. Matter of fact, I've done it. Right. You can be broke and hustle. Your mindset has to shift for that business to shift. So I was in between. Do I want to life coach and teach this woo-woo stuff and teach people about manifesting, or do I want to do business? And I kept going back and forth, and it wasn't until I made a real decision. Business is what it is. Give people what they want. They want to make money. They want business. And I'm going to give them what they need included in the program, which is the mindset work. So first you need to make a decision that this is what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. And then second, you need to go ask for the sale, get off your bullshit ass excuses, and go make your money.
Because a lot of times what happens is people think there's something wrong with their business, but it's really something wrong with their mindset.
Yep. 100%. And most of the time, it's funny. The people who come to me and they aren't getting results. If you look, I'm like, when is the last time you offered? I'm looking at your social media and I don't see you. When the hell have you asked for the sale? Right. Oh, well, I asked for it the other day. Listen. When I used to watch live TV, you will see the same damn commercial on every damn time. Commercial. Right. When you think you finna ask for something one time a week and you finna get a result. No. And asking once or twice isn't enough either, especially when there are so many people online and so many people in your sphere and so many people who are pulling. You're going to have to make sure you're seen and heard enough, that your message is heard over and over. So when a person think about who do I need to go to for this, they're going to think about you. I have people who, not even joking, people always say, well, I can't afford you. The truth is none of my clients could afford me. Mm-hmm. They couldn't afford to not come to me because they were sick of where they were. You got to be willing to ask for the sale. You got to be okay with charging what you're charging, and don't worry about whether people can afford it or not, because people will figure it out. One of the examples I use, I talk so much and so fast. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm gonna get it out. I get so excited. But
no, it's fine. This is what it's about.
One of the examples I used in a video series was talking about if somebody told you that your child had terminal cancer and was going to die within 6 months, like guaranteed, you could see your child was sick, your child was weak. But then you saw there was a treatment that wasn't actually approved and covered by insurance, because they don't want to heal shit no way. They just want to, that's a whole other story. Yeah. Anyway, so it's not approved because it's actually going to heal, but you were going to need $100,000 and your child will not die. I can guarantee you, if you got to go twerk on a pole, you go figure out how to save your kid's life if you any kind of mama or daddy. It's just what it is. You have to come from that energy when you are trying to fund your business. And guess what? When you make your clients or your prospects understand that what you offer is life or death, they choosing life if they choose what you have. When you come from that direction, when you can place your offering in their mind on that life level, then they're going to do what's necessary to pay for the service.
That's deep. So you gotta make them feel like you gotta believe in your product so much that they feel like they're missing out if they don't drop that bread with you.
Exactly. Like, I know for sure, like, for real, I'm so confident in what I offer. I know the people that ain't paid me, they missing out on so much, like, but it's on them. They've made the choice to not do it. They've made the choice to not say yes. If they've been here, they've made the choice. I know you missing out. I see you over there hustling and you ain't getting no results. You missing out, but you keep saying no to you. So I really believe that. I really, really believe that by choosing, and I believe it so much it manifests. Like, I remember somebody else in this industry, I won't call no names, but she has a popular program. And if I had to say I had competition, I would say her, but she's not really high ticket, but she has but she's not low ticket either. It's kind of weird. She's like in a premium space, but she has a group program that like hundreds of people join. And I remember thinking like, why the hell is everybody going over there? And I'm like, oh, well, you missing out. They are missing out by going there, not here. And what's funny is about 40% of the people who join her program, before the program is over, they come find me and have a VIP intensive and will drop $10,000 for one day, which is not 24 hours. It ain't even 10 hours. It's more like 4 to 6 hours. They would drop $10,000 to work with me for one day when they dropped $10,000 for her 1 year program, just because I truly believe and send that off energetically. Like, you are at a loss by not being over here at the Iconic Clan. Like, you're losing. Right. I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
So this is the last question I want to ask you. How do you go about, from your mind, your perspective, your theory on attracting a high-paying client?
Being a person that somebody would want to pay high ticket prices for, offering a service that someone will want to pay. When you make your program, product, or service something that a person not only needs but wants because they've been in so much pain. Think of yourself as a physician. Like, you fix something, you heal people. You just heal them in a different way. But if you're a person that heals, the person that is in so much pain that they'll do anything to relieve that pain, that's your client, and that's the person you're looking for. So you're not actually going out and like searching. Like I always say, you don't want to be the bee that's buzzing from sunflower to sunflower to sunflower. You want to be that sunflower that's sitting there, the wind blowing, you going back and forth, and the bee coming to find you because you got all that good nectar. So how do you become that flower? Is that you're standing there and you're sharing with them the things that they need to know. So what I mean is you're talking to your ideal clients at all times. So the stories you tell, the conversation you're having is what's attracting your client in. So one big thing I had to learn is I don't tell my struggle story often. When you see Facebook ads from me or any kind of Google ad or Instagram ad, it's always something like, here's how I went from $12K a month to $32K a month. That's my quantum leap experience. I usually don't go more than that in ads just because it scares the bejesus out of people when they see $100K a month. But that's the story I tell. It's a reason I chose from going like $12K to $32K. The reason I chose that was because the person who is zero ain't really tripped. Like, they're like, oh, you're not for me. That person is who I'm talking to, and they'll hear it. And so it's really choosing. If you're telling a struggle story, you're going to attract people who are struggling. So you got to make sure that the story you're telling is talking to the person that you want today. I don't want struggle people. I don't want struggle people. I don't want you to struggle to pay me. I don't want you to struggle through because a struggle person has a certain mindset that I'm just not interested in working with. There is no getting through to the struggle person. The struggle person constantly has an excuse like, well, it's the truth. Well, if you can't get over that damn excuse, I cannot help you. So once I realized that there's a mentality that comes from that struggle, I knew I didn't want to work with them. Now, a note on that is, there are people who come to me who didn't have anything, but they didn't have a struggle mentality. That's the difference. And so when they saw the ad about $12,000, they have made money before. Maybe they have just hit a bad few months. They had some money in savings, so they weren't in that desperate place. They weren't feeling that struggle. Therefore, they weren't vibrating that struggle. Therefore, a Facebook ad that was talking about a higher level attracted them. So it's like, if you really want to attract your ideal client, you have to make sure you're talking to your ideal client and not to the person you don't want to attract. And that's been the biggest thing for most people. Most people are speaking to people who they don't want to work with unconsciously.
Now, I think that that's probably the biggest gem that was ever dropped, because nobody's ever said that. Nobody.
It's the truth, though.
No, it is the truth. It is the truth. And that's what you mean when you say you are what you attract and or be the person that somebody wants to, pay. So that's
one thing I knew for sure is when I was willing to pay $100,000, it was no way in hell eventually my prices won't go get to $100,000.
Right.
There was no way. If I'm paying it, what makes him better than me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what makes him better than me? And one thing I always talk about is I'm one of the highest paid women consultants and the highest paid African American woman consultant.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? I never put a limit on myself. And I knew when I was joining masterminds, I was joining masterminds that was full of men.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to play the man's game. I didn't limit myself because I have ovaries. I didn't limit myself because I had extra melanin in my skin. Like, I am playing a white man's game, and I'm okay with that. And hell, I can shift your business too. I can help you make $100,000 a month too.
Right.
Why in the hell would I downplay myself just because I have ovaries and melanin? Like, the fuck?
That's hilarious. the way you just delivered that was hilarious. But it's real though.
Yeah. People always put their own constraints on themselves, right? Their constraints can sound like, whatever the constraint is. Oh, well, I don't have X amount of dollars in the bank, so I can't charge this. Or, people just have so many constraints on what their abilities and possibilities are. I really believe that there's no glass ceiling. And I think this is the first time I've said this publicly. When I released my $100,000 program, swear to God, universe, whoever, swear to you, I really just wanted to see if I could. For real, I was like, I think I'm ready. It's been a couple of years. I think I'm ready. Let me see. And I sold 2 spots in less than a week.
In less than a week, you sold 2 spots at $100K.
Yeah, and I'm booked out until 2019. My 2018, the 2 spots are already sold. So when you take the glass ceiling off, the possibilities are endless. I really was like, I wonder, can I? Let's just see, can I? And it only took one person. I was like, oh, shit. Oh, crap, I can do it.
What was that sales call like? Like, was it the same as like a $5,000 or $10,000?
I'm going to tell you what I did differently with that. With my, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, even $70,000. I don't do sales pages. I hate sales pages. People say you need them, but I'm a rule breaker. I'm a rebel. I say, okay, you need them. I don't. Let me show you some shit. So that's just kind of who I am intrinsically. And so I don't do sales pages. But for this $100,000 program, and what that means is people don't know how much the program is until I tell them. And the side note to that is, I don't think it's any of your business how much my program is unless you invite it. My programs are invite only. So if I didn't invite you, it ain't none of your business how much it is. You ain't invited. So I purposely set it up that way. But with the $100,000 program, because of the price point, I knew I wanted the people who had Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover waiting. The person who was ready to wire transfer. And I didn't even want to talk to somebody who thought they were talking about $20,000. So I actually did a page for this one. And then in order for them to get to the application process, because they still couldn't buy, they had to click a button and certify, I understand that this program is $100,000. I'm ready. I have the money. I have the investment. And then if you're chosen, then I would give them the link to sign up. And so most of my programs are like that. I turn down about 60% of the people that I talk to. Just because you apply and just because you have the money don't mean I'm going to accept you if you're not ideal. I've learned enough about working with headaches and assholes that I need to make sure it's people that I want to work with.
Right.
So you actually have to apply. So I put it out there. And so I knew that the first day I put it out there, when I got 10 applications the first day, I was like, oh, shit, maybe I should have made this a little bit more. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Did you put it on, did you run ads to that, or did you kind of like announce it on Facebook? And when you announced it, like, well, you said it was invite only, so you only invited them, right?
Well, I announced it, and they could fill out the application, and if I like your application, then I'll call you back.
Did you say like something to feel like, hey guys, I'm putting out like, this is $1,000 product to work with me for a year? Or was it like, hey, I have a new product to apply?
Well, it was, remember, I sent them to a page that gave them all the information, so they knew how much it was.
Okay.
So I didn't do an ad because I filled it too quick. I knew that for this person to pay me $100,000, they were probably already in my sphere somewhere. They probably had been watching. Maybe what I had been offering wasn't quite to the level they wanted. So what I ended up offering was $1 million a year program where they literally work with me privately. They have access to my attorney, my publicity team. They see exactly how I run my business. They know what my systems look like. They implement my, look, they have my entire business model, the business model, for $100,000. And I basically said, hey, it's $1 million a year apprenticeship. You get to apprentice with me for a full year. Here's the link to the information. The price is there. If you're interested, apply. If your application is chosen, we can talk and you can interview for it. And so I gave them the link. The people who wanted it applied, and the people who knew like, oh, hell no, I could never do 100K, they just didn't apply.
Right. Dang, that's dope. That's amazing, and that excites me, like, big time.
There is no limit. I really believe there is no limit. And I begin to think, like, why would you not pay $100,000 if you can make $1 million plus?
Literally. But
why the hell would you not? And why would I want to charge you less than that? Like, it
absolutely.
just
It's a win-win. It's a win-win. And here's the thing, what I learned. Wealthy people, they value information and education, because a wealthy person or a wealthy-minded person will spend 100, 200, 500,000 if it's gonna make them $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. It don't matter.
Exactly. And I knew that's the person that I wanted to talk to. That's the person that I wanted to work with. And the sales call wasn't a sales call, because remember, I positioned it as you apply and I'm going to interview you. So it wasn't a sales call. I interviewed them to see if they were a fit to pay me.
Right. Well, man, that's a lot of gems been dropped on here. How can people contact you and reach out to you?
Well, my website is thehouseoficons.com, but the easiest way to get me is actually Facebook, Stephanie, facebook.com/Stephanie, the marketing maven. I'm a social media girl. I really can contribute, at least 95% of my income from social media. If not more, like 98.
Dang, that's amazing. Well, look, I really appreciate your time. I appreciate all these gems.
Can I say one more thing?
Oh, go ahead.
I just thought about it. So when I just told you, I attribute it to social media. One thing that's important is people think the number of followers you have and likes, that shit is important. I bust 1 million, and I think I only had like maybe 5,000 to 7,000 people on my fan page, and probably my first 100,000, I didn't even have a list at all. My first couple 100,000. I didn't have a list at all. So it goes to show you don't need a huge following. You just need to be strategic. You need to have a plan in place. You need to have a proven system in place, and you can achieve it too. But I'm never impressed by when you see them pictures with hundreds of likes. They just like the picture. They ain't checking for you.
Right. They're not worried about all that extra stuff.
Right. People who want to make moves. I sign more people who have never even liked a damn photo of mine. I'll be like, where did you come from? They're like, oh, I've been watching you a while. I'm like, you never comment. They're like, no, I've just been watching. People who are ready to make moves, like, they're not necessarily checking for the likes, but they see what's happening.
Absolutely. 100%. Well, Stephanie, man, you so dope. Do you know that? I know you know that, but do you know that?
Of course I know that.
Come on now.
But thank you.
No problem at all. But everybody listening, man, look, this is what it's about. It's about just entrepreneurship and living life that you see fit for you. We've been talking for quite a long time now, but it's needed. It really, really, really is needed. And we just want this episode to give you hope. And we want this episode to, pretty much like kick you in the ass and just say, man, go get some money because you need money to eat, to pay rent, to pay bills, to do everything. So stop letting things stop you and go get this money, man, and go build this business. Seriously, whatever business it is. So with that being said, guys, that's today's episode. Do you have any last parting words, Miss Sinclair?
You know what? Other than just go get this money, as they would say, go get it. Like, stop talking about it and do it, and stop watching nobody's better than you. Mm-hmm. You're just as smart as everybody else. And you're super smart when you go take action and go do it. Got you.
Well, everybody listening, you heard her, and let's make it happen. Hit her up, add her on Facebook, and definitely let her know that you heard this episode and that it was super amazing, super dope, and super impactful. So we're going to holler at you on the next show.
Thanks for listening to the Starts With a Vision podcast. Come get your vision clear at www.startswithavision.com. See you there.